Being a leader in technology as generative artificial intelligence is embedded in every aspect of our lives is vital for Australia. So too is ensuring that Australia's most sensitive data remains in Australia. But this also causes issues such as copyright and who owns the original source that artificial intelligence might scrape. A new business, Sovereign Australia AI, seeks to address some of those issues, and its founder, Simon Kriss, joins me now. Simon, good to be with you. I want to start with one thing. You have gone out and you've got an order in for a record number of the NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs. So you're trying to put them into data centres in Australia with NextDC. Just one thing, I just don't even know the answer to this. How much is one of those NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs? What does it cost?
Well, to give you a better idea, for that size of compute, along with storage and everything else, we're talking around about $40 million.
And for that, how many actual GPUs, how many computer chips do you get for that?
256.
256, and you're talking 30 to 40 million bucks?
Correct.
So that gives you a sense of how expensive those individual chips are. Right. Second thing as well, let's go to the data, because as I said in the introduction, Australian data should stay the most sensitive of it in Australia. Absolutely. But that's not happening right now, is it?
No, it's not. Every time you're using generative AI, when you hit the go button, that goes to a GPU to be processed somewhere. And that's today most often happening in the US or Brazil or somewhere other than Australia. We have limited GPU capacity in Australia right now.
OK, so that's surely potentially for companies and for government, if the government information is going, that is potentially compromising of our data, our intelligence and our knowledge into the future.
It opens that risk. It definitely does.
So, therefore, having a sovereign capacity in GPUs gives us a sovereign capacity to deal with our own data and to make certain that that data is not falling into the wrong hands.
Correct. And so what we're doing is we're using the GPUs you talked about as our training ground, and then a separate bank of GPUs for when people are prompting or inferencing this generative AI system. But they all need to be here.
Because what you don't want is an external party somewhere who might have hostile, say, actions towards Australia, gaining intelligence and being able to use that intelligence, our own intelligence,
Correct.
Against us and against our systems.
Correct. What are the police forces, defence force, what are they expected to do when they need to make sure that all of our data is safe and secure? It has to have a sovereign solution.
OK, so then that data has to stay here. That's the reason why we need a sovereign capability. But is that up to the government or up to a private organisation such as yours to provide that capacity?
Look, I think it's up to companies to do that. You know, I don't think the government's job is to be necessarily building major infrastructure, particularly not that's going to then be costed to business. I think a business needs to do that. We've partnered with a company called Sharon AI to manage and monitor all of our GPUs and make sure that they're sitting in the right racks and doing the right things. But that's half of the problem. The other half of the problem is the model itself. And right now, most Australian companies, in fact all, because they have no choice, are using offshore models. We don't know what they were trained on. We don't know how they were trained. We don't know how they were biased. We don't know how much influence someone like President Trump might have on the design.
So this is where hallucinations come in and where false data comes into AI models. And the question is, if that model is being generated from outside of Australia, you have no control to be able to discover where the incorrect input of that data has come from.
That's part of the problem, yeah, is you can't pinpoint where the problem came from. But there are other things, you know, just trying to understand all of the machinations. Does it apply to is it compliant with our privacy laws and things like that?
And copyright's the other one.
Copyright's a big one for us.
Yeah, because now you've got copyright issues that you're trying to address.
Correct. And I am one that doesn't necessarily agree with the Productivity Commissioner who says that we should just scrap copyright laws for AI. I don't think that's the right answer. In fact, we've committed in excess of $10 million to make sure that we're paying for copyrighted material where we need to. Now, we still need to work out the actual machinations of how that occurs, But there are some models that we can follow. It's the right thing to do, though.
Yeah, Simon, Kriss, it's great to have you on the program and with that explanation, and many thanks for your time today.